All right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? And the video I'm bringing you today, we are going to embark on the nerdiest video I have ever done. And I know some of you guys are going to be like, wow, so you really posted some nerdy videos. You talk about a bunch of lame shit all the time. Yeah, this is lamer, guys. This is worse. This is this is literally one of the nerdiest things I've done. I thought it would be kind of fun. And obviously, my definition of fun is different from other people's. I want to get that preface out there. If I haven't scared you off yet, let's dive into the video. So we're going to talk about class identity. I posted this developer deep dive, and I kind of talked about it in the past. I'm not going to read through all of it, but I'll provide a link in the description for this. This is the basis for this video. ESO came out, and they're like, yeah, we're going to address class identity in the future. This was posted September 26th of last year. It is now the future. We're going to go through Harrowstorm, and then we're going to go into the next patch. And, they said they're going to update class identity. This patch was a performance patch, so I'm assuming a lot of this class identity stuff is either coming in quarter 2 or quarter 3 of this year. So that's why I'm bringing it up, because it should be around the corner. It's an interesting discussion. People talk about it on the forums, on YouTube all the time about class identity, which classes have the least class identity. I figured I'd try and graphically show it for you guys. So what I did is, everybody has a different interpretation of class identity. What they discuss in this developer deep dive is they want it to have a unique feel. They want it to have play patterns, and they want it to have power fantasy. So power fantasy is essentially like they say in here, Templar drawing on the power of the light. Necromancer is summoning the dead. Dragon Knights is, earth and fire. Like different tangible, things that make the class look unique. I'm more looking at play patterns. And so play patterns is what we're going to analyze. Like I said, super exciting, guys, in this video. So what I did is I went onto YouTube and I looked up all of my personal favorite YouTubers for builds and play styles. I'm going to do just a few quick shout outs, but I went and I looked at different builds, different 1vx clips of some of the most viewed clips in Dragonhold, our current DLC, and I looked at the skill bars. So I went into each individual video, and it took me like 30 seconds, and I clicked on the skill bars to see which, so like Stamina Dragon Knight. Looked up a build for Stamina Dragon Knight, and I checked to see how many class skills Stamina Dragon Knight is running. Now, in my opinion, a best way to show class identity is how many class skills the class is actually using. Now, this graph isn't going to be about strength. It's not the strength of a class. Like Stamina right now in a 1vx situation is very powerful, but a lot of it is because of Onslaught. Onslaught is not a class skill, it is a weapon skill line. Onslaught's powerful, and so it makes solo 1vx more powerful for Stam for that reason, but that has nothing to do with class identity. You can have strong class identity and you can be a weak class. You can have weak class identity and be a strong class. So this is just class skills and abilities relative to weapon skill lines and what's useful for them. So whether it's healing, whether it's defensive abilities, whatever, if you're using a weapon skill line or if you're using shuffle or whatever, that is not a class skill. But if you are using a class skill, that's the identity for the class. And so we're going to evaluate it based off of who's using the most class skills. That's essentially what I did. So it didn't take me much time. It's not like I watched every video and I went through 10 minutes of it. I just went through and I looked at the skill bars and I literally pulled up the most viewed videos. So Magic and Nightblade, one of the first ones I did, was 11. They had 11 skills. That were Magic and Nightblade based skills. The next one was 5. I think that was a bomber. The next one was 8. The next one was 7, and the next one was 8. Magic Dragon Knight 8, 9, 9, 8 for skills. And I went down the row, and then I did an average. So Magic and Nightblade's average for the top 5 was 7.8. Magic and Dragon Knight was 8.25. And then over here, Stamina Necromancer was 4.25. So we can go into this. And I have a graphical interpretation for you. But if we compare all of the classes and all of their averages, like I said, guys, like it's Valentine's Day. I hope you guys show this to your girlfriends and boyfriends, and hopefully You know, I do you guys some favors because you should look way more sexy and appealing to your significant other than I do right now. Like this should bore them to death, and they're like, you know what, we should do something, literally anything else. So if I can help you guys get laid, you know, I'm doing my part right now. So you're welcome. I will take gold donations. You guys can send me gold as a thank you if you want. It's the least I can do. So you're welcome. Anyways, let's dive back into the video. Magic and Nightblade. I don't think anybody is going to say Magic and Nightblade is currently a good class, you know, but to survive in open world PvP, to make the most viable open world PvP builds, you do use a lot of class skills. They have very good identity. When you see a Magic and Nightblade, they're using a lot of Magic skills, Magic and Nightblade skills. It's just they need buffs. You know, like we've talked about Magic and Nightblade a lot. That's why I'm rehashing it. Magic and Dragonite, also very good class identity. When you see a Magic Dragonite, you know exactly what it is because they're using a bunch of class skills. Is anybody going to say Magic Dragonite is good for solo 1vx right now? No, of course not. But they do have good class identity. Magic Templar has the best class identity. It's also one of the best classes. You know, so it's got that good, really good synergy there. Magic and Necromancer is in line for good class identity. You know, they have a ground-based AoE fear. You know, but a lot of Magic and Necromancers are using the Vampire Stun because it's better. And so they get knocked because although they do have class skills and identity that's unique, a lot of Magic and Necromancers currently aren't running those. They're running like Force Pulse over their Flame Scald, or they're running Imbue Weapon, or they're running Shock Clench, or they're running Ellie Drain. Ellie Drain's another skill that they're running, but Vampire Drain. And so they're using less class skills because the weapon skills and stuff are better for their class to succeed. And so they have the skills that you could buff, but they're just not using them right now. Magic Sork, you know, pretty powerful. But you see all of the Magicka classes are pretty damn good. The weakest Magicka class is only slightly weaker than the strongest Stamina class for class identity. Stamina Nightblade, we all know, like Stamina Nightblade has very strong identity, you know, incapacitating strike, surprise attack. They have Killer's Blade. Not a lot of people are using Killer's Blade because Executioner is a little bit better right now in my opinion, but they have it. Merciless Resolve, Shadow Image, Siphoning Attacks, Cloak. Like, they have a lot of class skills that they're using that make them powerful. Stamina Dragonite, not so much, you know, not so much. Not many people are using Stone Fist or Stone Giant, sorry. Stone Giant is just not a very good skill, so people aren't using that. They're resorting to D-Swing, you know. Venomous Claw is currently not very good, so instead of slotting Venomous Claw in this patch, they're using Camo Hunter, you know, and they got Rally and they have Executioner. Stamina Dragonite does not have a class Execute, so they have to go to the weapon skill line for that. They do have a good class Ultimate. They have very good support skills via their armor buff and Igneous. So they do have some class identity, but it absolutely could be better. The weakest one that I found out of the builds that I found on YouTube was actually Stamina Necromancer. Now, nobody is going to say Stamina Necromancer is a weak class. I'm certainly not. But as far as class identity goes, when you think about it, for PvP, like my build, I'm running Rally, D-Swing, Camo Hunter, Executioner, Blast Bones, and Onslaught. My front bar, I have one class skill. On my Stamina Necromancer, I have one, and it's Blast Bones. On my back bar, I have Shuffle, I have my armor buff, I have Spirit Guardian, Poison Injection, Vigor, and Undo. I have 2 class skills on my back bar. And so when you look at this, I'm literally running 3 class skills on my Stamina Necromancer, and it's really good. You know, my Stamina Necromancer I feel is very powerful, but as far as class identity goes, it's not very powerful. And so there's just not as many, like, you know, there's no good option over like Shuffle's so good, there's no good alternative on a Stamina Necromancer over Shuffle. You know, there's no good class stamina heal that would replace Vigor. There's no good major brutality buff where you would replace Rally. You know, this sort of thing. That's why Stamina Necromancer, although it's a very powerful class, some of it is really carried by the 2H skill line, and then by, like, you know, running Shuffle and all these other sorts of things. Stamina Sorcerer, actually has a little bit more class identity than Stamina Necromancer, which is interesting. But when you think about it, that almost all Stamina Sorcs are running Hurricane. Most of them are running Crit Surge. And then you have Dark Deal, so that's 3 already. And you either are running like Streak or Bound Armaments or something like that. So most of them were running like Hurricane, Crit Surge, Dark Deal. Like those are the 3 staples. And I run Crit Surge, so that's 4. And then I run Streak as well. So, but yeah, if you run Bound Armaments, you do have some things. It's still not good. Like, I'm not saying that Stamina Sorcerer class identity doesn't need help, because it absolutely does. It's just they actually do have some things. Some people use the Atronach, different skills, and so it's I would say they're about the same. But yeah, when you look at these, Stamina Warden obviously has pretty good class identity for a Stamina class, so does Stamina Templar because of jabs, because of Subterranean Assault, because of birds, all these other sorts of things that allow you to use these things. And so when you look at some of these classes for class identity, it's not about strength. Like I said, I'm gonna say it a few more times, because I know there's going to be somebody that's going to go, well, you're trying to say Stamina Necromancer's weak. No, I'm not saying that. Okay? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that class identity relative to the weapon skill lines, some classes need a little love. And it would be cool if every class was in this Magicka Templar tier, in this 8 to 9 point tier. And so what could you do to improve things? Well, for Magicka Necromancer, it's not about introducing new skills, in my opinion. Magicka Necromancer is about improving the skills that they already have, like Flame Skull. Make Flame Skull a little bit better, a little bit more viable. Make their ground-based fear a little bit better and a little bit more viable. If those skills are better than Force Pulse and Clench and all these other abilities, all of a sudden they'll go from 6.75 to 8.75 by using those 2 skills. All of a sudden, Magicka Necromancer will have great identity. Magicka Sorcerer, their heals aren't... They don't really... I mean, you have the Pet Sorc heals, but outside of that, there's really nothing else. Ultimates are okay, backbar, resto. I mean, this is very minor tweaking, but an actual class spammable wouldn't be bad. I mean, Crystal Fragments isn't spammable. It's a damage-dealing ability, but it's not spammable. So you see a lot of Sorcs, if they are running a spammable, they're running Imbue, they're running Crushing Shock, stuff like that. There's things you can do there. Magicka Warden. Magicka Warden has a shit ton of identity, but could use a little bit more love. Birds aren't very powerful. Birds could use some love. Just because it's kind of slow and clunky, and in my opinion, like, I don't use birds. I don't think birds on Stamina Warden or Magicka Warden are very powerful. I'd rather use Crushing Shock. I'd rather use D-Swing. I'd rather use something like that. And so bringing those class spammables up, like if all of a sudden birds was very viable and it was a lot better, this would jump up to 8.5 and it would be a little bit better. If Magicka Nightblade had a burst heal, wink wink, all of a sudden this would be in the 8.8 range. You wouldn't have to use rapid regen. You could use a burst heal. And all of a sudden we'd have great class identity here. Over here, stamina classes, let's be honest, we're just not going to have as good of class identity as Magicka classes are. Because our universal heal is Vigor, and it's outside of our class skill line. And they don't, unless they start giving stamina-based heals to all stamina classes, people are always going to be running Vigor. They're always going to be running Vigor. We could, however, introduce more ultimates for stamina classes, like Stamina Sorcerer, that's stamina-based, so that they don't have to use Dawnbreaker, that they don't have to use Onslaught. They still can, but they don't have to. They would then have options. We could boost Stamina Warden's Bear to where it's actually more functional in PvP. It doesn't need to be stronger. It needs to functionally work better. Stamina Templar, their Crescent Sweep, why does that have to tank? Why can't we just have a damage-dealing Crescent? Why can't we have a damage-dealing Stamina Crescent? We have a damage-dealing Magicka one. Let's have a damage-dealing Stamina one. That would bring their identity up a little bit more. Stamina Necromancer, yeah, class spammable. Class spammable needs to be boosted a little bit, so they're using it a little bit more. A few more stamina-based skills wouldn't be bad. I would look at Stamina Warden and what they have. They have, with Soothing Spores, they have stamina-based heal. Why can't we have a stamina morph for a heal for Necromancer? I don't... all these things would boost class identity a little bit. And it's not about making the class stronger. You know, it's about giving class-based alternatives to these classes so that they don't have to use weapon skill lines, so that they have a more unique feel. So this is off of, like I said, this video is more based off of play patterns. This is based off of what YouTube players that 1vx, do small scale PvP, whatever, that the most people watch on YouTube, what they're using for their class skills. So that's going to be at the end of this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please provide in the section below. I hope I explained myself well. Yeah, this is about class identity and using class skills and not weapon skills. And obviously, you know, although some classes are weak, they have pretty good identities. So if you guys want to, you know, have a debate with your buddies and you want to talk about, like, you know, hey, my class is actually really weak in the class identity department because I'm running, you know, Stamina Necromancer, and your buddies don't agree with you, here you go. If you're a Stamina Sorc, you can be like, yeah, look how bad our class identity is compared to most Magicka classes. It's not very good. So that's what this is for. You know, just visual representation of what class identity actually is in PvP. So, like I said, if you guys have any questions, please provide them in the section below. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.